You know what time it is. The new year is upon us, which means it's time for those big plans, those bold promises. Yeah, I'm talking about New Year's resolutions. But what if there's a better, way more powerful way to create change? One that doesn't rely on sheer, grinding willpower? Well, today, we're diving into the wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn to explore a totally different approach, using affirmations to truly make all things new. Okay, let's just be real for a second. We've all been there, right? You start January with this awesome list of goals, and by the time February rolls around, that list is, well, it's pretty much forgotten. So why does this happen over and over again? It turns out the very foundation of how we make resolutions might be the problem itself.
And right here, you can see the two sides of the coin. On one side, you've got willpower. This whole approach comes from a feeling of lack. I'm not enough, so I have to force myself to be better. It's all about struggle, logic, and, man, it just feels like heavy labor. But then on the other side, you have spoken faith. This comes from a place of divine right, the belief that you are already deserving of your good. It works through intuition and ease, and it feels like play. This is the huge shift we're going to unpack today.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into exactly why willpower-based resolutions so often fall flat. Then, we'll jump into the alternative, the power of spoken faith. After that, we'll uncover this really cool concept called your divine design blueprint, and then I'm going to give you a super practical 4-step guide to make it all happen, leading up to the final, most crucial step, active faith.
All right, let's get into it. Why do our best-laid plans seem to just fizzle out? It really all comes down to the built-in limitations of trying to do everything with pure willpower.
According to Florence Scovel Shinn, these kinds of goals are kind of doomed from the start because they come from a sense of lack. So when you say, I need more money, your whole focus is on the not having of it. This forces you into what she calls planning, plotting, and scheming, basically a state of mental struggle. It's all logic, zero intuition. And here's the kicker. By constantly focusing on what you lack, you ironically end up attracting more of that exact same feeling of lack into your life. Wild, right? So if willpower is the problem, what's the solution? Well, that brings us to the power of spoken faith. And the main idea here is really simple, but it's a game changer. Your words are boomerangs. Now, spoken faith isn't about just wishing or hoping for something. It's about deliberately using the vibratory power of the spoken word. It's about speaking your desired reality into existence, right here, right now. This isn't about using mental force. It's about coming from a place of fearless faith, trusting that your words literally have creative power. And this boomerang analogy is just perfect. I mean, think about it. Whatever you send out into the world, your words, your thoughts, your beliefs, it has to come back to you. So if you're sending out words of lack and struggle, well, that's what's going to return. But if you start intentionally sending out words of abundance, success, and joy, guess what kind of boomerangs are going to find their way back to you? Okay, now we're going to go even deeper. This isn't just about saying positive things randomly. It's about aligning with something that already exists, your divine design blueprint. It's about tapping into the perfect pattern that's already laid out for your life. So the idea here is that you don't have to build your perfect life from scratch. The divine design is like a blueprint that already exists for you in what Shinn calls the superconscious mind. Just think of it as a higher level of awareness that holds your absolute true potential. It's your unique path to perfect self-expression. Your job isn't to create it, it's to uncover it.
Think of it like this for a second. Willpower is like a sculptor trying to carve this amazing statue out of a giant block of stone. It's just heavy, exhausting work, right? It takes brute force, endless planning, and this constant struggle against the material. It's all effort.
But the divine design? That's more like a tiny seed. The entire perfect pattern of a magnificent tree is already inside it. You don't have to force it to grow or pull on the leaves. Your only job is to provide the right conditions, to water it with faith and trust, and just allow it to unfold naturally. You see the difference? It's struggle versus ease. So here's the million-dollar question. How do you align with this design without falling back into that old pattern of forcing things? You use this simple prayer by saying, if this is the divine design, let it manifest. If not, give me its equivalent. You're releasing your white-knuckle grip on one specific outcome. You're basically telling the universe, hey, I'm open to my highest good, whether it looks exactly like I planned or, something even better. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get down to the how. How do you actually do this? Here is a simple 4-step guide to take this from a cool idea to your actual everyday reality. The process is really straightforward. First, you've got to clear the past to make room for what's coming.
Second, you affirm the present, and this means speaking your desire as if it's already a done deal. Third, you align with your divine design by learning to trust your intuition. And fourth, and this is the one that really ties it all together, you have to act with faith.
So let's start with step 1. You can't pour new wine into old bottles, right? Before you can manifest anything new, you need what Shinn calls a spiritual house cleaning. By affirming, "Behold, I make all things new right now," you're consciously releasing last year's failures, any regrets, and all those worn-out conditions. You are declaring a completely clean slate.
And now for step 2, affirming the present. Notice the language here. These aren't about wanting something, no. They are statements of fact. For your career, you don't say, "I hope I get a magical job." You declare, "I have a magical work." For abundance, you state, "The tide of destiny has turned." You're using that vibratory power of the spoken word to align with the reality that you are claiming right now.
So, we've cleared the past, we've spoken our new reality into the present. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it is absolutely non-negotiable. This is active faith. This is where you move beyond just words, and you prove, mostly to yourself, that you actually believe this is happening. Active faith is all about the physical preparation for your goal. And psychologically, this is the most powerful step because it totally short-circuits doubt. It's the bridge that connects the unseen world to the seen world. By acting as if your goal is a complete certainty, you start to dissolve your own internal resistance and convince your subconscious mind that this new reality is absolutely inevitable. Let's make this super real. Let's say you're using an affirmation to manifest an amazing trip in the new year. You've been saying the words, you've been feeling the feelings, so what's the next logical step to make it concrete? You buy the suitcase. It's that simple, and honestly, it's that profound. Buying the suitcase is an act of faith. It's a physical signal to your own mind that you are preparing for something that you know is on its way. You're literally making room for it in your life. Okay, how about another common goal? Maybe you're affirming that you are moving into your perfect new home. How do you show active faith for that? You start packing the boxes. You don't wait until the keys are in your hand. You prepare for what you've asked for. Because think about it. If you ask for success but you prepare for failure by, keeping everything unpacked, you will get what you prepared for. Every single box you pack reinforces your belief. And this quote just says it all. Real faith isn't a passive waiting game. It's an active, knowing state of being. It's a feeling of, I know the order has been placed and the confirmation has been received. So it acts accordingly. It clears the space on the shelf and gets ready to welcome what's coming.
So as we wrap things up here, I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget all those stressful, willpower-driven resolutions of the past. Instead, just think about what you truly desire to call into your life this year. And more importantly, what's one small physical step you can take today to show that you believe it's already yours? What will you start preparing for?